amazing instrument. It has developed into an incredible voice in today's music. So many types of guitars, so many styles of playing, all sorts of gear. How does one make their voice be heard as a guitarist? My name is Jeff Floro, and welcome to All About Guitar, where we talk tone, we talk technique, we talk gear. Where we discover how we can become better musicians in a world of constantly changing technologies, where we take a good look at everything guitar, and sometimes not exactly guitar, but just as important, so we can be more successful as a musician in today's music scene. So sit back and relax, and let's explore all about guitar. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to All About Guitar. We have a great show tonight. My guest is Grainger, and she hails from Australia. And also joining me is Lauri, of course.
Hello again.
And we're going to talk. Cara is an amazing guitar player, besides a singer-songwriter, and she does some great slide playing, besides regular electric and acoustic guitar. And she brought a bunch of her guitars and a very cool amp. If you can see it back there, it's called a Rita. And we're going to go through all these different guitars and her background and stuff. But first, I just want to welcome you. It's really a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Hold on. I got to remember to turn your mic on. There we go.
Hello.
There we go. We're now on.
Here we are.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, I hail from Sydney, Australia, and I grew up in the inner city there, right next to Sydney Harbour. Beautiful place to grow up. And I was very lucky when I was emerging on the music scene there. There was a lot of blues and roots and soul music popular in most of the live venues around town. So I was pretty heavily influenced by those styles of music at the time when I was 16 and 17 and sneaking into pubs. My brother was also playing in bands at the time. He's a couple of years older, playing blues and roots bands, and he started touring the country. And then we formed a band together. Pretty much, I think I was in 12th grade of high school when we formed the band. I started playing tambourine, and I ended up being the lead singer.
Oh, so very cool.
I just kind of snuck my way in there.
But so you were predominantly blues influenced. Did you listen a lot of rock and roll? Did you listen to anything else?
So when I was growing up, I actually listened to a lot of folk music as well. I delved into my parents' collection, and I was listening to a lot of Joni Mitchell and even Joan Baez and Little Country with Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson. And my brother was the one that really brought the blues into the house when I was about 13, because he started collecting LPs and he was learning harmonica himself. So he started bringing Little Walter and Muddy Waters and Jimmy Reed and all these people. And from there, I'm shortening the story. Hope that's all right.
That's okay.
But basically, I was learning guitar. I started when I was 12. I was singing and playing, learning guitar. And then my brother also started learning a few years, even though he brought the music into the house, he started learning guitar a couple of years after me, but went to a different teacher who was teaching him how to play blues guitar. And he introduced him to Stevie Ray Vaughan, introduced him to Buddy Guy and all these people. So when I heard that, I basically said, I want to go to that teacher because that sounds great. And also at the time, we'd go out and we'd see live music, and this is what we were hearing. So that's what we wanted to do. And, Mitch had a Fender Stratocaster through a Music Man 112 amp. I believe it was 110 or 112. I think it was 112, which sounded fantastic. And not the lead channel, but the clean channel sounded brilliant.
A lot of people did that. They used the clean channel and
then put the pedals through it. And we formed a band, like I said, when I got out of school. And though the guys in the band, Declan Kelly on drums, Rowan Lane on bass, we had a percussion player, Danny Guerrero, and those guys were heavily influenced into Stax, into Memphis sounds, into New Orleans sounds. So when we'd tour up and down the coast, when I was a very influential young woman, they introduced me to all this fantastic music, and there was a lot of soul and a lot of funk in there. And that was a big part of my upbringing in the music world.
Well, there's a cut, we'll play it a little bit later, from her new album. I'm going to flash it up here right now. Living with Your Ghost. It's coming out next week, right?
It's coming out, the single's actually coming out next week.
Okay.
Of Living with Your Ghost. And the full album will be out June 1st.
June 1st,
You can pre-order it right now, though.
But talking about that kind of funky groove, there's a song called Groove Train. We'll play that in a little bit. I'll leave that later. There's some interesting stuff. But why don't you play something for us right now? And this will she's going to do something using the acoustic slide. First of all, tell us what you're using here right now.
Sure. This is my harmony guitar it's a 60s harmony that I picked up in Australia a few years back now. Also with a 60s diamond pickup single coil out of Italy, that a lot of the early blues guys used around that time and beforehand, and also before, a lot of the folk stars used these pickups before there was acoustic electrics, basically. So it was a pretty popular sound. And I was learning slide, and I wanted to do something different besides just grabbing a dobro. Sorry, dobro. And
no, that's all right. You're fine. I love your accent. It's great.
I thought that I found an acoustic I liked, and I was just searching for a slightly different sound with that. And it breaks up really nicely. If you want to arc it up, we're playing kind of a low volume right now. But this gives you a little idea. It's a nice balance between the roots of an acoustic sound and a little bit more boost of electric.
No, that's great. But I have a question for you. I noticed that your Diarmond pickup is shifted so that the bottom string pole is on the 5th string. Is that intentional?
So I move it around actually quite a bit depending on what room I'm at, and you can get a different. If I want a more trebly sound or a bassy sound, I basically just shift this a little bit to move it in the sound hole. And also the volume on the pickup itself affects the tone really majorly. So I'll always be adjusting that slightly depending where I am. Now I'm pretty used to this amp now as well. because I'm using the Category 5 amps I'm sponsored by fantastic amps out of Texas and a lot of different varieties. This happened to be great for me because I have 2 separate channels here and I can separate my
Now, is that a
acoustic to my
212 or
electric.
112?
It's just the one.
112, and it's what, a 50 watt?
I think this one's a 50 watt. I have to check. Yeah, it's actually you can change the ampage on it as well in the back.
So the now is this the power section? Is it like a Marshall with the EL tubes, EL34s, or is it like a Fender with the 6L6s?
6L6s on the and the preamps. I've got to check. I have to get the text and find out what the preamp. I can't remember, but the main tubes in the back are the 6L6s, I believe. I'll get that back to you. That information.
No, that's
very
no
soon.
problem.
Yeah,
No problem.
But a whole bunch of tubes on the preamps too. I got to figure out what they are. Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful sounding amp. We turned it up a little bit before the show. There's another show next door, so I can't get
really
real loud.
balanced. So whatever you put through it, it has the warmth, but it has a nice clarity in the bottom end and the top end without being too bright or crisp, and so you can do a lot with it.
And you basically run it clean, and then you overdrive with pedals, right?
Yeah.
So briefly, just tell us what you're using.
So I use a bunch of stuff, but today I'm using my favorite distortion pedal, which is actually called a Geek Screamer, which was a boutique pedal that I don't think they're still making anymore. So basically, it's like you got 2 distortions here that you can adjust, but it has some vintage capacitors in there installed, and it was made by a guy up in San Francisco. I think he's moved on to different business now, but it's one of my favorite pedals. And I'm also using a pedal, have been lately, that Mike Zito developed. If you know him at all, he's a fantastic blues guitar player, which is, I'd say, pretty similar to this sound too. I love this Casper delay. That's really, I use this a lot on the album. A lot, I will say. And I also use a lot my mini Dunlop wah. I absolutely love.
Yes,
And
it's a little baby one.
so I haven't got it plugged in right now, but you know, it's hard to use with high heels. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
If you don't have high heels, I really think it has a sweep that you can control, and it sounds a lot better to me than the full-size Dunlop wah that you get off the that you just.
Really, it sounds better than a regular Crybaby?
It really does. The sweep sounds better to me. I might be insane. I'll tell you that. I don't know, am I insane? Could be. But that's why I'm using it. Not because of the size. I think it sounds better. So.
Well, with
There you
that
go.
throw, the sweep might be adjusted.
I used some vintage wahs from 70s,
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix, Dunlops, all kinds of stuff over the years, and been very disappointed for years, and because I had one that I lost and never achieved the same sound again. But I love this one. I think it's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a baby. I remember when I saw them at the show. They're great. But actually, since you're talking about the wah, so you don't have to plug it in right now, I'm going to play a clip from the album called Groove Train. And what's interesting about it, the wah sound is obviously, it's one of my favorite sounds. What she's getting is getting the classic wah. But what's really cool also is the way you're playing around the sax solo. So I pulled the clip around that solo, and then you start singing again and you're doing fills. And one thing that's really cool about this album is she does really tasty riffs in and around. There's just a lot of little ear candy all over the album. So let me play the clip. This is Groove Train, and take a listen to this. This is that wah. This is a great sound. Here you go. Now that's a great tone. I mean, just love that sound. Now, what were you using with the wah?
So that was the Mike Zito pedal, which I have here in my bag. I want to grab it out actually in a minute. Together with, what was it? We were using some different Category 5 amps because this is my LA based beast, but they have a bunch of different models, and at the time I can't remember which particular model that was, but I'll have to look that up.
But which guitar did you use?
That was okay, so on the recording I used a couple of Strats,
Because it sounded like a Strat to me.
yeah, I'm trying to remember if that one was the 64 Strat or the 58 Strat, and I'm pretty sure it was 58 that with the maple. Yeah,
Because it has
rather
that
than
tone,
the
and
rose-
I think at the end you went to the bridge pickup when you're playing. It sounded like the bridge pickup, but it's got that clarity to it.
right, which
You're breaking it up a little bit, but it has that sound, which Hendrix used to do a lot too. It was a really cool sound we'd lay back.
often do that, sure, when you want to get a little bit more angst in the sound, just flick it across to the bridge pickup. Yeah, so there were some beautiful guitars that were also I was also able to use, thanks for the people at Category 5, and yeah, they were both great. But that, I think it was the earlier one, like I said, it might have been it was a 50, I think it was 58. I have to check, but it was super. That super creamy, funky sound, you know. I used that on another track, Favorite Sin, as well. That it was just golden.
Yes, the favorite that has that. You do the electric guitar lead on that one.
Yeah.
So, and that's the Strat. Well, actually, we'll just play that since I have it right here.
No, you were going to say
Beautiful
that.
guitar.
All right, let's go
That's
ahead
a
and-
beautiful guitar.
So
yeah.
more Strat.
No
here.
sense imagining. No,
No,
let's hear it.
let's. So this is Favorite Sin. Hang on. It's a great little riff there. Bum, 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 ba, da, 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 da. She has a lot of little cool little
That
riffs.
actually happened in the moment, that riff.
Really?
Funny enough, yeah. This is a co-written song, and we had basically the Julia King sent us the words and the chords, and then we were in the studio and we started messing with it a little bit, really in the space of about an hour, something like that, and then the riff came out. We started working on it, laid the track down, and it was actually the last recorded song of the session. So that's why it's a little more rocking out too, because we were all kind of ready to let loose at that point.
That's a great
If
song.
you know what I mean.
But that tone, that's a great, and these amps are amazing. I'm really impressed.
They're incredible amps, yeah. And also, I mean, this one, I like you said, I pretty much play clean and put my pedals through, because it does actually have a lot of wattage, but they've got all kinds. Some of them that will break up a little bit earlier. There's a little 110 that they developed recently, that just sounds like this mix of a champ and another amp too, which is just incredible. Plus, you can take it on, take on the plane with you, and it's killer.
Now that was on Favorite Sin. You're using the Zito pedal.
Yeah,
the Zito pedal. That's very cool.
I used that a lot. My combination a lot for the. I tried a bunch of things, and I came back to that. I came back to this Casper delay, this pedal. I used occasionally this favorite Geek Screamer, like I mentioned, for some leads. And other than that, it was the amps, So trying to think of what else, if I used anything else particular for effects, but I think Anders used a chorus on a couple of tracks, but that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Well, I noticed on the album there's a couple of tracks where you're using a phaser. There's like
So that was Anders using the phaser.
Anders.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Anders Osborne, who co-produced
That's
the
right.
album. New Orleans-based producer.
That's right. So, yeah, we tracked with J.J. Johnson on drums, Dave Monzi on bass, Anders and me on guitar, and Ivan Neville on keys. That was the core, and it remained the core for most of the album. There was a couple of overdubs with the horns,
the horn,
one percussion, Texas horns on one song, my friend George Stanford on another song here, and also actually a brilliant songwriter in his own right, also plays a decent horn, and plays a decent trumpet. But that was it. So it was most of it we were focusing on what developed in that week of recording.
Well, let me play. Want to get it, and this one features the slide playing. I'm going to play the title song, "Living with Your Ghost," a clip from that. But I wanted to ask you, when you listen to the clip, it'll start where there's a main lead that she does on slide, and then she starts singing again, and then another guitar, another slide comes in, but the tone's different. It's really cool. So I want to ask you what the difference was or what you did. But it's really, again, this album really shows different sounds and tones, and I think that it makes it really interesting, the album, because you're just giving us all this ear candy that's really great. So let me go ahead and play this. This is the title song, a clip from it, "Living with Your Ghost," and take a listen and listen to the two slide parts, the one at the beginning, one at the end. Great stuff. So you hear that when you're doing it at the end, the tone's different. Is it the same? Is it a different guitar?
You have quite the discerning ear, Jeff.
That's what he does.
God, you're making me remember all this stuff. I think that was I'm pretty sure that was the same guitar on the back pickup as opposed to the middle
You
pickup.
just switched. But it's a great sound, that one at the end.
That was a Les Paul.
Okay.
And I'm actually enjoying playing a Les Paul a lot lately, playing a gold top. But I started on Strat pretty much, and but I'm playing the Les Paul a lot live, and so that was middle pickup.
Is that
to
a
the
humbucker
factory.
or a P90 on it?
That was a P90 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it gets, I don't know how to describe the sound. It's kind of like a, not nasal, but like or not hollow, but it kind of has like a rounded, like filtered type of sound when you at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that really cool sound. It's almost like dobro, or like when you turned up this guitar with the amp, when you're running through the amp, it gets that kind of, it's not nasally, but it's kind of a rounded.
Honky.
Yeah, honky. You got it.
Little bit.
But it's a cool sound, and what you're doing at the end. And if you got to really listen when you listen through headphones like we are, you can hear she's doing little lines behind her when she was singing. So, again, it's always interesting trying to pull these clips because, all right, here's the lead. Okay, I'm going to cut it right here. Well, wait a minute. She's kind of doing something under that vocal. I think I'll keep going, and then it went out all the way to the end. So there you go. But I mean, it's interesting little things that you're throwing in there.
It's a balance, yeah, isn't it? Like to get that little bit of roundedness to the sound without being too muffled.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's not. A lot of people don't get that. They'll take a Les Paul and crank it and do this great. I mean, it's valid. It sounds good, but you're actually changing the sound in the middle of in the song, and it's just another thing that's different.
Yeah, textures.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's colors in it, and I think that's interesting because you really know your tone. You're changing.
Well, yeah, it comes from lack of ability, Jeff. It's like, geez, I can't do anything. I can't do another lick now. Maybe I better change my.
Just change pickup. Do it again. No, but it's just a great. It's a great. Well, let's talk a little. We're gonna talk about some effects here. I'm gonna play the last cut of the album. It's called Freedom Song. And what's really interesting about this is I just did the whole intro. It's just really cool what you're doing. You're panning guitars. I was having 60s flashbacks. It was very cool. But she just does little sound effects with it. She's doing little sound accents. And it's just really tasty. So let's listen to this and we'll ask her what she did on that. Now, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in there. Besides the slide effects, I think there's... Well, I'm going to ask you to break it out a little bit, but throughout the song, even farther into the song, a lot of the guitars are playing chords, and then you whammy bar it. You, like, vibrato it.
So, I can't take credit for that part. Now, listening back to the song, I was playing the slide sound effects, as you can hear, which
very cool.
Which all happened organically in the studio because I think we actually were jamming on the groove for a very, very, very long time, finding where it was going to be, and then the song just kind of started, and then we kept what we were just mucking around with on the start of the song, basically.
It's so great.
So and then you hear a kind of heavier fuzz guitar,
Mm-hmm.
which was done live, and then you've got the Bigsby over the top on, if I think it wasn't, what was Gibson with a Bigsby, I believe, on a hollow body.
Like
It
a
was-
335 or something?
It wasn't a 335 that Anders was playing. It might have been a 325. I have to remember. But
Did it have
it
humbuckers
wasn't
or
a white
P90?
Falcon, was it? No. Could have been. Anyway, like with the Bigsby over the top, doing that bring on.
Yeah, they're doing that. But did the guitar have humbuckers or P90s? Do you remember?
I think that was humbuckers. But again, see,
So it was but it was the
I have to-
double
I have
cutaway,
to-
or was it a big jazz type?
it wasn't the double cutaway. No. So I think it might have been non-cutaway. I'm trying to remember if it was a Falcon or not.
Oh, a Gretsch?
Gretsch.
They would have that sound because it's kind of
Might have been the Gretsch.
it definitely has a twang to it,
Yeah.
but it was cool. I mean, he's doing all those little. It's really nice.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and he gets that nice, real clear, clang bring sound coming through as well.
Yeah, and it's sustained. So while he's doing the Bigsby on it, it sustains out. It's actually kind of, to me, it reminds me, even though the song isn't a rockabilly song, that's a rockabilly type of twang. To it.
Yeah, that was the style of guitar, and went really good against this guitar that I love, the Harmony that I was playing the slide, but
Right.
which again can be that heavy mid sound, so that nice balance of the twang with the midi.
Now, when you were using this guitar
yeah,
as the acoustic one, were you running it through the amp too and having some breakup in there too?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're using both and miking and amping.
Usually, yes, but in this particular scenario, I think we went with the amp
Mm-hmm.
because we all tracked in the one room together, and some of the I even tracked playing acoustic guitar in the room with everybody, and a couple of those tracks stayed. I've never done that before. It's kind of unheard of, it bleeding right into the.
Well, it works if you have a good room. It sounds like this studio was a great sounding room. And if you mic it
is.
correctly, you
What
can...
was that studio?
It's called Wire Recording in Austin. Yeah, we were there we did the main tracking in a week. And yeah, I think Anders really focused on not necessarily what might be less problematic for editing down the track. He focused on, this feels really good right now. We're all jamming, playing the song together in the right room, in the same room. Let's make it work.
Yeah.
And I liked that actually, and we made it work. There was one or two things we had to we overdubbed from that tracking session. I did a couple of acoustic guitars
Right.
on the whole album, but a lot of them stayed, and then there was a couple of vocals and guitars that stayed from that.
Right.
That's
No,
nice.
it's just interesting because here I have you through the amp and I have a microphone on you. And this guitar sounds great acoustically, and the marriage between the two is great.
That's what I've used that a lot on several
I mean,
of my albums.
this guitar mics really well. It's that sound.
Uh-huh.
But it's amazing though what you get electrically with that Diamond pickup that is a great sound.
So I just got a message again from one of the people that were the executive producer and engineer on the album, who said that it was actually the 64 Strat on Favorite Sound.
Oh, okay. So it was the 64.
That's Don Ritter from Category 5. Thank you very
Yay.
much.
Hi, Don.
I'm jealous. If you ever want to get rid of that Strat, just send it over.
It's a beauty.
That's a
It's
great
beauty.
sound.
Yeah.
No, that sounds really, really, really good. And so on Freedom Song, so you were using the acoustic guitar. What other guitars were you using on that?
So
He was using the
it
Gretsch.
was the Gretsch, which was the overdub, but live in the studio, I can't remember if he was using the. I think it was a Gibson, or
Okay. So you didn't do any. You just, if you overdubbed on that, was acoustic guitars.
there was no other overdubs on
So
that.
you didn't overdub. He just did that.
He just did the Bigsby with, I think, like you said, the Gretsch. That was
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
The rest was a live
That's
track.
pretty good. That's a good live sound.
Live vocal too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the recording in general is a nice open sound, even though, well, you were doing it live. It's obvious that I mean the drums, when you hear like the opening with the drums and stuff on some of the cues, some of the songs, you can hear it's a nice room sound.
Yeah, and JJ on the drums, JJ Johnson, is just a master of tone. Speaking of which, I know this program is big about tone. I mean, it's incredibly important to me as well. I'll, tweak with sounds forever if I can, unfortunately, to everyone else's detriment. But,
No, that's what it's about. You can tell in the way you play, because you do get specific tones. You can tell.
JJ really, tuned the drums and chose his, snares and cymbals and for each particular song, with what he thought matched the sentiment and the emotion in the best way.
Yes. Now his drum sounds great.
Yeah.
Throughout the album, the whole thing. I'm going to play some more stuff in a minute, but let's talk a little more about some of the guitars that you brought.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
A couple more here.
So this is, like I said, has been my staple for slide for a while, the Harmony. So I've also I've been playing the Gold Top a lot.
Right.
The reissue that's a little bit lighter.
I think that's the picture that I used for the promo, is her playing the Gold Top.
Right. I think I can. But I also came across another guitar which I absolutely love. When I was in North Carolina last year, I sometimes play at a venue called and guitar shop called the Midwood Guitar Studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful shop, lovely people. They always really look after me. But I found this guitar there.
Where's this?
Beauty.
It's in North
Lauri,
Carolina.
grab that guitar from the door. I'm just afraid
thank you.
somebody's going to open it. Put it right there.
So
This is right. I'm going to take some pictures of this puppy.
this is in Charlotte, North Carolina, the store. But the guitar itself was actually made in Austin, Texas, as well. Funny enough, I seem to keep having a lot of connection with Austin.
Well, that's good. It's a good music town.
Yeah, and I did spend quite a bit of time there when I first got to the States from Australia. But as you can see, it's a beautiful guitar. It's quite rare.
It's hard to see it in the
flame-
pictures or
flame
on the video,
wood.
but it's actually the top is arched, like an arch top. There's like
see that how
it's carved.
carved in there, yeah, around the outside, and all obviously all hand done by Isaac Berman. But what I love about this guitar is it's just super smooth.
I was trying it earlier. The neck is beautiful.
Yeah, you can just really, really glide.
Do me a favor and flip it around and show them the neck, the wood on this neck. Look at this.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. You see that?
Hold on, let me get it again. It's just beautiful.
It's a little bit weighty,
It's heavier than your Les Paul?
The Les Paul I got's a reissue that I'm playing right now, which is actually the lighter variety, which I love as well.
Okay.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Because I have a Les Paul and it's heavy.
Yeah. Loads of nice sustain on it too. And that's with, distortion. You just go clean through the amp. Oh, that's too loud, isn't it, for in here? Sorry.
Are those just standard humbuckers, or are they special?
Yeah, I don't remember what these humbuckers are.
But is it 2 volumes and 1 master tone?
So no. 2 tones, 1 volume.
Okay.
I'm a Strat person. I've just discovered this variety fairly recently. But it's so smooth, and as you can hear, there's really beautiful clarity through this amp, nice warmth. And because I've got my headphones on, I'm not sure if that's too loud for you.
It's real balanced, and there's no dead notes. I mean, it's clean. It's the fretboard. There's no. It's real consistent. Now, do you take a Strat with you too? You use a Strat live?
I was.
But not now?
I can't. I can only take so many guitars. I know you told me you took 12 to your sessions.
9.
9.
I did take 12 once. But that was years ago when you had to go to the studio and you didn't know what was going on.
So, as I'll be traveling around, I do some fly dates on my tours, etc. And already I'll have a big duffel bag with 2 guitars in there, one with my slide guitar and probably one other, the Les Paul, often, sometimes this one, sometimes an acoustic. So
it does
Strat's
what you...
taken a back seat, but I mean, I want that too. What do you do?
Split the coil. That's all you can do, is you have to use like a coil splitter on. Well, your reissue has split coils, right? You have it's a push-pull?
It's actually not that one. No, it's from a different variety, but it's not so much just necessarily the tone, it's the feel of it.
That's true.
Yeah, for me, personally. So.
But the single coil gets that, especially like with your wah-wah, it brings the character of the wah-wah a lot more.
It really, yeah.
But this guitar is nice. I'm trying to compare it to something, but it's kind of unique. I mean, it's not, it's a little cleaner, I think, than some of the Les Pauls I've heard. I mean, in terms of tone.
Yeah. But it will, break up beautifully.
Oh, yeah. No, she's really turned down low. I mean, she can overdrive that amp real easy with this guitar. It has a lot of output.
I'm just showing you how nice it sounds just straight through the amp.
Now, did you use this on the album?
No, this is a new one.
So it's before you had that on. That's beautiful.
So it's fun.
No, it sounds great with that the Geek Screamer.
Geek Screamer, yeah.
No, it's getting a nice tone out of it.
And hey, I've got another guitar I want to show you.
Go ahead.
All right. This one. Let's see. Have you heard about Maton guitars from Australia?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Wasn't that was Maitland what Jackie was using?
Oh, Jackie Bristow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
Jackie and Mark Punch were both on the show
Oh,
She had
last year.
Yeah, she had a Maitland. It was beautiful.
So it's a Maton.
That's
It's called like Martin, but Maton. This is my little mini. But these guitars, honestly, are the best acoustic electrics I've heard live.
So cute.
Because You know, they're really nice guitars, really balanced. I like the pretty natural finish that you can get on them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this is the Mini. It's my travel guitar. But you plug them in. The acoustic electric system in these guitars is, seriously, it sounds the sweetest that I've ever heard. If you're just backing yourself up solo, or even if you're playing with a band, what have you, none of that affected, sound that sounds like cardboard. You don't get any of that with
But
these
that
guitars.
doesn't bug you, the short scale? It's
I
a
have
small...
another one full size.
Oh, full
for
size,
live.
okay.
But if I want to do a whole gig, I'll go for a full size. Absolutely, this is a 3/4 neck with a Mini. But I just
Now she's just playing it acoustically right now. It has a character similar to the harmony a little bit. It gets that sound.
and the 808 that they have is the one that I think that's one Jackie has. Is the one that just sounds primo.
Right, and then
Plug
she
in.
has, this one's, it looks like it's a spruce top, but I forget that type of wood on the back. It's indigenous to, if I'm correct, to Australia, right? I forget the name of it. Sounds great.
Yeah, for a little guy, it's fine. LA seems so far away. LA seems so far away. Don't remember leaving yesterday. I'm sitting here watching the ships rush in. Easy to roll on back upstream. I miss my friends at home, but I don't feel bad at all. Oh, what does it mean? Feels like a dream. You're in New Orleans. No, you've arrived when the river rolls by. You're in New Orleans.
That's a beautiful guitar. Now, real quick, we're almost out of time. You have to tell us about this one. There's so much pearl. I'm a sucker for pearl inlay on this guitar.
Well, this is a traveler. This is that. Actually, I'm borrowing off a friend right now, so I can't tell you that much about it. But get that out of the way. But
Beautiful.
it's got a story to tell. I tell you that. It's been all around, like many of these guitars, like that one. But it lived in Singapore for many years. It traveled from Australia and is now owned by one of my best friends that I've also performed many concerts with around the world.
That's a beautiful guitar. It's a Blue Ridge is the name of it.
It needs a little tune though, but you get that. Needs a tune. So
Well, we're out of time, and I really want to mention again the album that's coming out. It'll be out in June. Is Living with Your Ghosts. I'll let her take a picture of that, but I'm going to put it right here in front of the camera so you can see it. And it's her with that harmony guitar sitting there next to the trailer. It's a great picture. And check out, I have some of her other ones here. Shiver and Sigh, Grand and Green River, and LA Blues. So check out these albums; they're great, and her tone. I mean, it's a textbook on just great sounds and great technique. And thank you so much. Real quick, anything coming up that you, besides the release of the album, any gigs that you want to mention?
Sure. Well, there's the Dallas International Guitar Show next weekend. It's on, and we're actually doing a show. I'm doing a show with another act, Danny Franchi, also on Station House Records, and that'll be the Friday the 4th at 3:30, and we'll be there all weekend. That's usually a great event. We've got a show in Austin on the Texas at the 1-to-1 bar as well coming up.
And that's
On the
who are those
first.
guys that are playing with you?
Yeah, that's with a actually fantastic band that I'm playing with. One of my favorite groups right now. I'm not just saying that. They are incredibly. They are one of my favorites, called the South Austin Moonlighters. So I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, you know, the singer that plays bass at the same time sounds like Paul Rodgers. They all harmonize. They all are incredible guitar players. It's a great band.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So they'll also be playing with me at the guitar show. And of course, you can pre-order the album right now. So you can go on to Station House Records website.
Station House Records.
You can also.
Is it on Amazon? Can they pre-order on Amazon?
So very shortly they'll be able to do that. Yeah.
Okay. And then also, too, if I'm correct, www.karagrainger.com is your website.
That's right.
Check out all the cool stuff there. And thank you, Lauri, for bringing her on. But
You're
what's
welcome.
going on with you? I know you're busy.
Well, I'm busy partially working for her label, Station House Records, and that's just kind of launching, and we're really excited about that. We've joined our Facebook page and Danny's page and everybody's page and see what's going on. Locally, we've got, the Tribe is doing, we call this classic cover show, and this is our Eagles show, which we're making our debut at Bogey's on May 6th, and probably we'll be setting up a new show with a later date because this one's almost sold out. Rosemary Butler's going to be back at Bogey's this Thursday. For those of you local to LA, I get to play with her and sing with her, and it's a
very
great
cool.
band. Maitland Ward and Rob Bonfilio and the crew, they're all just great. So always lots of
And
stuff happening.
my good friend Steve Pfister is going to be playing at the Baked Potato.
And that's the 9th of May. Yeah, he's just amazing, and I'm sure you regular listeners know him because he's been here,
He's been here a
on
lot.
both sides of the interview
Yes.
process. He's great. We love him.
No, it's I really appreciate it. And again, we have to have you back on.
Oh, great.
We gotta you have enough guitars. You can just keep bringing them on.
I think we got more to talk about. And
Yeah,
also,
a lot to talk about.
one of the other, I just remembered because somebody reminded me, that the other guitar we used was a K guitar on
K?
Freedom. Yeah, that's right. Was it the 62K? Could have been. And there's a bunch of beautiful, acoustic guitars that we used as well. A couple of Gibsons on that, but that not on that.
Well, I'm gonna tell Station House Records,
Yeah.
put more guitar stuff. The gear. It's not a criticism. It's just a suggestion because we all want to know what they're using. 'Cause especially Kara, we want to know how she gets that sound. But that will definitely have you. Definitely, I can see you coming back. I'm going to end with a song. Where is it? It's "Love Will Get You Through," and it's got electric slide, and it's got, again, take a listen. There's a lead at the end. There's the phased guitar that Anders is using.
Right.
You'll hear that, and then there's these fills. Are you doing the fills? There's like little riffs at the end because I'm playing the last part of the song.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
again, just
Don't remember.
100% taste.
I think it was.
Put your headphones on.
Yeah, put your headphones on because there's a lot going on in there. But anyway, thank you everybody for listening, and we will be back next week. Everybody have a great week. And here is "Love Will Get You Through." What a perfect way to end it.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Oh, my
Yeah.
pleasure. Here we go. Everybody have a great week.